And now she goes fast. So I bought some more toys, but they're for my kids. So today I am going to do a review on the HS-210 drone that I got from Amazon. Just what I need, like another hole in my head, I got a couple of drones for the children. It's for the children, of course. So I like flying drones. It's been a while since I had a big one that flew into the dock after a few moments of booting it up. But I digress. What I wanted was some small drones that were fairly resilient so that the children could play with them, because I don't want them playing with my fancy drones, of course. And one of my employees brought these in and said, hey, I've got a 4-year-old that can fly this thing. This would probably work good for your kids too, because I have a 5-year-old and almost going to be 8-year-old here in a couple of days. And I'll tell you what, they picked it up really fast, really fast. And sure, they still crash into stuff, but the way that this thing flies has really impressed me. And maybe it's just the technology moving on, but the stability of this little guy, HS-210, 2.4 gigahertz band from Holy Stone. Best name for a drone company, of course. I was actually really impressed, and they will take a beating as long as you don't like get some hair caught up in the fan blades or something like that. But it's just a little guy. It's like $30. It's a really inexpensive one, inexpensive enough that I got one for myself too. So okay, it's probably not just for my kids, but it comes with 3 batteries and a charger that has 2 ports on it. So you can literally fly it constantly if you get in the right mix of charging 2 batteries before you start flying. By the time you're done, more than likely one will be done with charging. You switch it out, and then by the time you come back for the next one, the first one is done charging. And so the way that the charger works and the fastness of it and the length of flight that you get from this, at least in the basic mode, it actually works out to be a lot of flying time, and that's always good. And of course, you can get more batteries if you want. I'm sure that somebody is probably making batteries that are a little bit bigger. I thought about maybe piggybacking 2 batteries on here. And of course, since we have 2 drones, we have 2 chargers, and we can have twice the fun. So I don't really feel like there's a need to get into what comes into the box and, you know, all the little like ups and downs of this, but I would like to show you on camera just how frickin' stable these guys are, and hopefully I haven't crashed it so much that it is a problem. But I'll show you at least how to use it and how well it works. So transmitter on first, although in the instructions they tell you to turn it on second. Then we just plug her in right there, and she is on. Once you plug it in, at least. It's kind of a little tight spot to fit in there for adult-sized hands. There we go. So I believe the red is forwards on there. And just like most drones, you have to push up, push down, and now it's armed. Then we press this little button right here that makes the props spin. And from that point, we can press up on our control stick. It is set stock to, I believe it's called mode 2 flying. So you have your up and down on this stick, and then you're turning on the same stick. Then the other stick is essentially sliding it forwards, backwards, and side to side. I do prefer that style of flying. It is how I want to see airplanes. And there is a little bit of, there's some way to keep it from drifting. But for what it is, it's a pretty stable flight. You can push on it, and it doesn't. It kind of tries to stay in one spot. It's drifting a little more than normal. No. Here we go. All right. So as you can see, it's slow enough for a child to be able to play with it. Oh, this is full tilt right here. Wee, which an adult would probably find this boring after a little while. You know, it's wee. But it also comes with 2 other modes. And now she goes fast. As much as don't really play with things other than crawlers. For some reason, little drones like this are just intensely fun. And I don't know why. Maybe it's just the toy guy in me, or the fact that my kids just go nuts over it. And I'm not that good of a flyer by any means, but it doesn't take long to get used to it. And you can set up little courses and y'all probably won't be able to see it off camera, but I just fly around and zoom around and wee, and don't hit yourself in the face. Oh boy. Oh no. And it's so stable though. I mean, for how small it is, because the smaller a drone is, the less stable that it flies. And I'm assuming it's just the technology as it goes along that it gets better and better and better. And now we have a $30 drone that it practically just sits there. And this one's got a little drift. I can tune it back out as the motors wear. You get a little drift, and as of course the charge changes, it drifts a little bit. But I mean, we probably have a little draft from our vent up here, but it's just so stable. Amazing, simply amazing. And to land it, you just hold down for long enough and it lands. And there we go. I could probably just keep playing with it on video. That's probably not as exciting to watch as it is to do. But maybe we'll have some drone races around the shop here soon, because I got some. One of my employees already had some. My business partner at Grow and Throw ended up getting one. So we have a little fleet of them going. And the cool thing about them is if you plug them all in at the same time and then turn on one transmitter last, they all bind to the one transmitter. So you can actually have a little swarm of them all going at the same time, which is rather fun, honestly. And if you do them in opposite directions, then they will all fly in opposite directions when you control it, which is super hairy to do, but also extremely fun to have this weird, like, how do you avoid crashing one when they're all going in opposite directions? And then of course at some point they try to hit each other, and you know, it's way too much fun for this little toy. And as much as I don't want to promote more consumerism in this world of today, my gosh, if you're looking for a little drone like this, maybe to teach your kids better hand-eye coordination, because I'll be honest, the reason why I got it for them was not to have them play with a drone. It was to teach them hand-eye coordination on a 4-channel radio like this, because long term I feel like that's going to be really useful for them, whether it's playing video games or whether it's actually piloting a drone, or maybe in the future there'll be some job or task where they need to actually pilot a drone to take some video recordings or what have you. It is a life skill that will actually be useful, I feel. Whether it's just playing with toys or whether it is making money, it is still one of those skills that if you get too old, it's really hard to learn. But if you do it when you're really young, it's really easy, and it transfers to pretty much everything in your life. Even, like I said, playing video games. If you can do this, then playing video games where you're controlling the aspect of the camera around a person is just that much easier. So I didn't feel too bad about letting my kids play with these toys and get a little bit of hand-eye coordination. And you know, maybe I'll be a hard nose about it, and instead of letting them play with their thumbs, I'll be like, you gotta fly like this, like a real heli pilot would fly, which is actually how I prefer. I get a lot better control when I do this. Sometimes when I use my thumbs, you know, I just get a little confused or something, or my thumbs will drift a little bit, and I just have a lot harder time. Especially with the, what is that? Is that yaw? Let me know. This, whatever that is. I tend to have a much better time controlling it when I use this little pinch. And let me know in the comments if you prefer to fly this way. It certainly gives you more fingers available for the buttons on there. I feel like it's better control. There's really no right or wrong way about it, but growing up flying more helis and planes, I think it was just kind of embedded into me that this is a better way to fly for control. So now that I've ranted about how to hold the controller for longer than I have actually talked about this guy, I will part with that. So the HS-210, I got it for 30 bucks off of Amazon delivered, and holy stone, was it actually a good buy. So I do thank you for tuning in, and go play with some toys.